Steve Slavic, owner of motocycleracks.net, and I'm here with a video on how to load your large road bike carrier, how to assemble your large road bike carrier, the CD8-85 model, the one that's rated up to 900 pounds. So, a little background, I've been doing this since 1999, and the large road bike carriers like this one since 07, so I've got a lot of experience with it. So just another point is this isn't a trailer, this motorcycle rack, the bike's turned 90 degrees to the towing direction. It wants to sway real bad when you slam on the brakes or accelerate. So I deploy 2 vertical stabilizer bars to pinch the bike. And so you're in a channel, you're captured on the sides, and you're tied off on the top. So it's a whole different ball game than a trailer where you have a large platform and long straps going off in various directions on a gentle angle. So the rules are different, the geometry and the center of gravity is different. So I've partially assembled this already. What you want to do is place the receiver assembly into the 2-inch hitch. Don't force it in. If it turns out that it won't go in there, clean out the opening with scratch brush, file, whatever, chisel. If you force it in, it'll be hard to get it out as well as you'll damage the paint. So push it in, line up the holes, and yes, this pin, this banjo bolt, is what tightens it down and provides a through pin so it can never get out of there. Tighten this down to 65 foot-pounds. I've already installed the side supports. These are unique. On the newer ones, there's a left and there's a right. They bolt onto the ear here and this thing like such with a 2 1/2-inch bolts per side. There's a welded plate on the newer designs and that faces up. Now also at this point, remove the hex bolt. Underneath you'll see a hex bolt, a set screw came pre-assembled. Take the hex bolt out and you'll notice that this vertical bar moves. Install the T-bolt that came with it. It's a no tools bolt that will set the position on this. Install it at this point. So the next part is to put the tray on. So the carrying tray itself, as you notice, I've already installed the horizontal stabilizer bar. HSB has been put on with 2 bolts, torque them down to 25 foot-pound. There's a wooden block in there, a spacer, tapered. That's for making sure that the wheel, take out all the slop where the wheel meets the channel, the front tire, so that there's no movement in it. You also notice bolt patterns. What are all those holes for? Well, I'll tell you. So this is for fine-tuning the carrier itself. So you can move it to the left one setting, you can move it to the right one setting, you can move it to the back, you can move it to the forward position. I recommend going in the middle setting to start with, closer to the vehicle. Put it tight to the vehicle. The clearance you need is 1.5 to 3 inches. With these 2 vertical bars capturing the bike, you won't get any more sway than 1 inch. So keep it tight to the vehicle. And at this point, take your tray in the middle, the setting close to the vehicle, install your 4 button head cap screws, snug them up. So now we're going to move on to part 2. This is step 2, and I took the carrier off out of the vehicle and I laid it on the ground. And now I want to actually go through how to arrange the vertical stabilizer bars. This is the whole game. This is the complicated part that once it's done, this piece of cake. So I've arranged the vertical stabilizer bars. This is the inside one, and they're movable. So they don't have to be at 90 degrees. They can be at 45 degrees. They can be at 90, whatever. You got to find a suitable place to have them touch the bike. You got to be tactical about it and get creative here. The inside bar, like this one, actually assembles on the inside of the angle line. The outside one, which is again the movable one, assembles on the outside of the angle line. And as you've noticed, I got blocks of wood on here, so I attached the 4x4 with the screw holes. Those holes in the vertical stabilizer bars, I use 2-inch drywall screws, 3-inch screws. So we go from steel to wood to rubber. You can use old inner tubes, you can use carpet, indoor outdoor carpet. This side here did the same thing except it's up higher, and I cover the swimming noodles or pipe insulation and zip ties, cover the bar itself. It's a good idea if you're anywhere near touching anything. So as I said, we go from steel to wood to something soft. And you need to find a place to squeeze these. Can't be bottomed out. Make sure that this is actually pushing on the bike itself and not bottoming out the metal. It needs to push on the bike so that you're pinching the bike between these 2 bars, and then it gets tight, set screw tightened at the bottom and then tied at the top with the lashing strap. So this is the whole game. I'm going to turn off the camera now and we're going to actually load the bike on here. Step 3, I've actually taken the carrier off the vehicle, laid it on the ground, lay it on carpet, and put it on the put it in the grass, or going to put it on the driveway. Put some carpet down so don't scratch the carrier. But I've now loaded the bike onto the carrier itself, and I can explain how the tie down works. So in the front, I'm showing the bike pushed all the way against the front wheel chock. The horizontal stabilizer bar has been used, so you're going to use a soft tie to loop around the handlebars and pull onto itself. That way you can not scratch the chrome on the handlebars or cut any of the cables with a metal hook. This soft tie will attach to the cam buckle type strap that goes here. So the tightening part actually goes up. In the case of the Goldwing, I was able to run the soft tie down the tunnel here and come out from below and tighten it down. So you want to pull them tight with the cam buckle. There's no need to use ratcheting straps. They won't do anything for you. There's no need to ratchet them all the way down. They're just going to cause premature wear and tear on your forks. What I recommend also is the lashing straps that I provided actually want to clamp the wheel into the tray itself. That way, front and rear, just to make sure if you ever get airborne or get into some seriously rough bucking roads, that it won't come out of there. You're already pulling down into it, so it's not going to leave it. The rear is important as well. Provides forward. Leave the bike in gear when you're doing this to prevent some of the roll when you turn corners. So now for the vertical stabilizer bars, as you can see, I've got in position. This is touching the side cover here with rubber. The inside bar is touching the engine cover as well. So you need to squeeze the bike, make sure you're not bottomed out on the metal, make sure that you're actually pushing on the bike from both sides, push them together at the bottom, tighten the T-bolt, and then at the top, tighten down the top washer with one of the lashing straps provided. Some of the issues you might run into, if it turns out the vertical stabilizer bar location is just running into the foot peg or the pedal or the controls, you can move it and shift it. I've got an offset bracket, moves it 7.5 inches to the left or to the right. Just attach this to the vertical stabilizer bar in the bracket. Now you can move it. I provide these at a nominal fee, or I'll send you a drawing, make your own. That lets you get away from some of the controls where there might be an interference. Sometimes another issue comes up is when you're going to push it up there, you seem like you have to lean it really uncomfortably far, like you're going to tip it over to get past the inside vertical bar. In that case, I make a detachable vertical stabilizer bar that when you take off, load the bike, and then have somebody hold it up for you, or lean it on the vehicle, and then install this and tighten down the T-bolt. That's with it, no tools. So you tighten that down. So that's the basic tie down. That's the whole game here is figuring these things out. Sometimes you got to get creative, and don't be afraid to try it. Just don't overthink it. Just go ahead and start putting it together and trying different things. Send me pictures if you're having problems. I'll help you. Now I'm going to turn the camera off, and we're going to talk about the last part of it. So now that you've loaded it on the ground, load the bike again on the carrier itself with your vertical stabilizer bars arranged. Put the loading ramp down, load it, check out your bars on the vehicle, make sure everything's working. You can squeeze it together and tighten it and load it. And at that point, remove the loading ramp so there's no weight back there. Now I want you to do one more check on the positioning of the carrier and its geometry. Stand back about 10 feet off the carrier, 10 to 15 feet, and look at it. Is the tray tilted to the left or to the right? If it's tilted, that probably means, if it's tilted to the left, that probably means you're going to need to move the tray one bolt setting to the right, and vice versa. So unfortunately, you may have to take the tray off one more time to make sure that it's balanced and it's not putting excessive forward twist on the unit itself. That's the final check. Once you've done that and figured out where it is, install the cap screws. If it's closer to the vehicle, you'll just need the 4 bolts. If you're further away from the vehicle on that position, you'll need all 6 bolts. Be sure to put them on and torque them down to 60 foot-pounds. A couple more things. Where to put the security. People worried about their motorcycle rack being stolen off the vehicle or taken while they're at the riding area or wherever parked. In that case, what you want to do is take a 4-foot chain and run it through the open loops on the trailer hitch itself. There's actually slots or open loops. Run a chain through there, find an open hole on the carrier itself. There's plenty of 1/2-inch holes. Run the padlock through the holes, and then run both sides of the chains through the hasp on the padlock, and to be able to chain it to the vehicle. Where do I store the loading ramp? Where do I put this thing? Well, in the case of scooters and low riders, or your big road bike carriers like the Golden, you won't be able to store the carrier on if there's no room. In that case, I have an optional mounting kit. You can see under here it actually hangs. It literally hangs underneath. You're going to lose 3 inches of ground clearance when you do that. So make sure you've got at least 18 inches of ground clearance between the carrying tray and the ground in order to be able to successfully carry and not drag the ground. In the case of adventure bikes, dual sport bikes, and other crotch rockets with high ground clearance, the tray probably will be able to assemble on the carrier. Standing on the side like this, there's 2 holes that match. There's 2 hole patterns. There's 2 holes in where the tray is not, and it'll mount there. Just secure it with the 2 3/8 bolts that are provided. So that's the basic video. If you have a C or CE type carrier, many of the rules still apply. As far as lighting goes, don't have a good solution just yet, but if you have high ground clearance on your bike, say 5 inches, they make magnetic towing lights you can buy online. They pin out to a 4 flat. They're inexpensive. You can set them right on the tray itself. If you have a low rider or some kind of large road bike, you need to attach some kind of a lighting kit for it. Thanks for watching my video. Go to my website, www.motorcycleracks.net, and send me a link. Find a link of any of the various places. Send me pictures of what you've done, and I'll be able to look at you, assess your situation, make recommendations on making it better, or answering questions, or providing spare parts. But once again, thanks for watching.